blue jay of the season. Doop-de-doo. Doop-de-doo. I need to seed some basil transplants. I'm using the 2023 planting calendar, which says I needed to do my basil a week ago. But I didn't have any soil blocks, which is what I need to do today. I also need those pretty soon for my third planting of Salanova, as well as the second planting of green onions and a few other things. All right, so I'm making soil blocks today, and I thought I would try my new soil block makers that I got last year. The biggest problem I was having with these also was that when I did try them, I put them in here into the soil, and anytime I tried to tip it up, the soil blocks would just fall out. So I'm going to try making the soil mixture a little bit drier. If all else fails, I'm going to go back to, this is a handheld soil blocker, but Tyler changed it so that it can be used standing up. I'm just using potting soil. This is kind of the consistency. I don't know if that's too wet. Yeah, this isn't gonna work because everything I just lifted up, right? And it just leaves, all the soil in there by standing on it like this. Oh my God, this is like gymnastics. Okay, I got a lump. Squeeze the handles. And there you go. So these are the ones made with this modified soil block maker. And these are the other ones. You can see they didn't quite, smash down all the way. So I need to be able to smash it down more. These ones look really nice, right? So there's hope for that, but right now I think I'm just gonna go with the old tried and true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Enough for basil now, and a few more for later on. Okay, tonight I'm gonna seed 2 trays of basil. I'm gonna put in a couple seeds per cell just to make sure that I get germination in every soil block. I'm also gonna seed a few pansies to transplant into the greenhouse bed-ins because I hear slugs like them. And so that'll be a little trap crop test. The birds are out rototilling my garden finally, because then I can form the beds and transplant into this. They're over in my Hugo culture too. Can you see them? Last year, it says here that the stellar jays and fox and golden white crowned sparrows arrived on May 3rd. So the fox sparrows have been here for a while. I did just see my first stellar jay, so I need to be on the lookout for gold and white crowned sparrows who eat vegetation, and I don't want them getting into my greenhouse. The sun keeps popping out from behind the clouds. Let's see. I need to repair this little hole here. I don't know if a bird would be dumb enough or smart enough or whatever to get through here, but I went around all the outside and caulked whatever little holes I could find because, I don't know, a few years back, a year back, whatever, golden crowned sparrows got into my greenhouses and just ate all the vegetation down. So the other birds just want to eat bugs and worms and things, but those birds like to eat vegetation. Ooh. Hopefully I didn't get it too tight. It'll rip the plastic, but... Okay, so I got an extra screw in here. This is the first one. This is the other one. I think these guys just need some big washers to help when the wind buffets this. I think this stuff in here is big enough that could I sell at the market this weekend? So I think what I'm going to do is grab in both greenhouses all the edges here where I want to plant orach, harvest those, weigh those, see how much it is, and then later the rest of all these beds are going to be basil. But I think I'm going to start with planting basil in the other greenhouse first, in case I need to yank that greenhouse out when we're putting the big tunnel in. And then I'll put the second succession of basil over here. And so I've got a little while in this greenhouse to plant some other things. So I think I'm going to transplant the lettuce. I've got some greenhouse lettuce starts over here. And I might plant them amongst the bok choy to get going. And then harvest the bok choy when it's big enough, and then the lettuce will grow. And hopefully this all works out. This may only be enough for us if it doesn't get ahead of me. The only thing is, there's only a market once a month. So if I don't sell this one, then, and I suppose I could open my store up, but my online store, and then sell at the garden. I don't really want to open up and then not be able to consistently sell. This bed already has lettuce growing in it. So this will, the sooner I get this spinach clipped out of here, the better it'll give. Because otherwise, the spinach will shade out the lettuce, I think, because it's growing faster. It was planted sooner. The other greenhouse, I think I'm gonna let this patch of, this edge of orach grow, but I'm gonna hit this mustard next. La 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 la. This is me flipping back the Frizzy Lizzy. Okay, let's taste this. It's super mild. This is nice. Sometimes these mustards are just like, but I don't know, this tastes good. It's very mild. This is kind of yummy. So pretty too. Okay, dudes. Spinach, bok choy, mizuna, which means that next year when I have my big tunnel, I could start selling consistently starting beginning of May, which is kind of nerve-wracking to think about, but pretty cool. I would be able to sell for a whole additional month than I have in the past. That's pretty cool. I got all my little starts here thinned down to one little seedling. Still waiting on some of my parsley to come up. Okay, I'm gonna go take these to the house, and then I'm gonna plant that orach down here. While the weather is overcast and I can water them in, the soil should stay moist and hopefully we get good germination. This is interesting looking seed. I think maybe the husk didn't come off some of them, and that's why it looks like there's two different types of seeds in here. I'm just gonna kind of dump it in here. I'm kind of doing it a little bit deep because I think these guys can just pop up through all sorts of stuff. I don't know. And there's a lot of moisture down here still. Pinch these in a little bit like that maybe. Leave a little bit of a furrow so the water can stay in there. Oh. Okay, both of these rows seeded with orach. Okie dokie, this guy is seeded. Okay, so now it's actually raining. Hopefully you can hear me, but I need to remember this. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plant the burgundy and the azrilla on this end. la la la, by the door. Okay, that door. And then I'm gonna plant the Hampton and the Brentwood starting over at that end, by that far door. Okay, that's the plan, Stan. Okay, transplanted. Some of these little fellows are so tiny, but I figured I'd better get these guys in here. You know, before the bok choy got so big, it might not be very easy to transplant. These are the bigger ones. Hello. And the reds. Hello. And I just watered them in. Trying not to bury the little fellows. I'm gonna try and get a picture of the birds. They just fly away every time I open the door. Like that. I don't know if you remember, but like a month ago, I pulled the tarp off of here. Like, I wonder if my potatoes are sprouting. Anyway, I was walking along here with Tyler this morning. I wonder if my potatoes are coming up. And he's the get it done sort of fella. So he just comes out here and starts digging around to see if he can find a potato. I'm like, oh. And anyway, so we found one. So here's the potato. It's like a German butterball. And there's nothing wrong with him. He's solid. He didn't freeze through the winter. So it looks like he's just waiting for it to get warmer before he sprouts. And that does show, though, that looks like all these potatoes are in here. And this fall planting is going to work out, which is awesome. So birds are over there in the garden now. Last week they were over here in this section and in the raspberry patch. Yeah, so they completely kicked the seaweed. Done. The sun is supposed to pop out for the next few days, and I thought about doing some things out here that I'd like to get done, but I think I will just stay away from the garden so I don't disturb the birds while they're rototilling my garden out there. There's a few fox sparrows over here at this end of the potato patch kicking around. I think they're getting a little bit more brave and getting closer to me. Hopefully they stay out of this raspberry patch since they've been here for the last few weeks kicking around. I mean, didn't they get all the bugs already? So what I'm going to do today, instead, I need to get the baby greens washed that I harvested from the greenhouse yesterday. And I'd also like to get all of my soil blocks made for the season so I don't run into a situation again where I need to seed something, but I don't have any soil blocks and I'm busy doing something else, and so I don't get it done. Power went out. I don't know why. And so my leeks have no light. So I think I will take these guys out to the greenhouse. They're pretty tall anyway. Look, they're almost up to the lights. Note to self, Scarlet Runner beans, you can plant them outside. Yay! So my friend Carrie was telling me about Scarlet Runner beans. I was like, you want to be in my video? And she said, no. But then last minute, she stuck her head in the video. So I was like, yay. But I wanted to remember the name of it. I think she told me about this bean before, or maybe it was somebody else. But she said that it grows outside just fine in our climate, where I thought all the beans would just like mildew and stuff because our weather is just too wet. But she said this one does just fine. One caveat she said is that it grows really tall, like 12 feet or something. So you have to have a way to trellis it. But she says she eats them, you know, fresh with the pod and everything. And then she'll store them in the freezer. So that's cool to know that they freeze really good, because that's what I've been doing with some of my other vegetables. Anyway, cool to know about. My other friend Holly was telling me just recently about a bean she grew. Last year she was getting tons of beans off of it in her tunnel. So, you know, she kept it out of the weather. And she was just getting, you know, lots of beans. And so I've got a couple options to think about. No birds out in the garden. No birds out on the garden. And birds in the shade, pecking around. A handful of birds over there in my hugelkultur. Another butterfly looking thing, butterfly moth thing. I've got 6 flats of soil blocks finished, and I'm starting into my new potting soil mix. It took me a little bit of time because I had to repair a bunch of these flats that had like cracks in them and just were not usable. So that took a little while. No fox sparrows in the raspberry or the potato patch. Just saw a couple of robins there this morning. No fox sparrows out in the garden or in the hugelkultur. So maybe they're gone for the season. Are the white and golden crowned sparrows going to show up? That is the question. $19. That was all of the plastic trays that I had, so I made as many soil blocks as I could. Hopefully it's enough. It just depends, I guess, on how many plantings of Salanova lettuce I'm going to do in the end. It might be more than enough. So I was thinking that in the future, if I had a big heavy wooden box that I could just throw a whole bag of potting soil into and hose it down, then I could use my big stand-up multi-block stomper and stand on it and make soil blocks more quickly. So yeah, maybe next year. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's everything. I think that's everything for now. I'll see you guys next week. I should be transplanting next week out in the garden if all goes as planned. Hey, look what I just got. Must be bean week or something. My friend Nala just dropped off some Petite Blonde lentils. And I am tempted to start these little guys and grow at least one plant in one of the greenhouses.